Good morning and welcome to this session on the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program for Cal Lutheran School of Management. I hope everyone's staying safe and taking good care of each other in these interesting times. My name is Mike Panessis. I'm the Executive Director of Cal Lutheran Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. I have on the session with me this morning Renee Rock, who's a senior lecturer, Professor Dan Vo, who's a professor of entrepreneurship, Kristen Bell, who is an MBA student and who also is going to be telling you about our Hub 101 co-working space, Thea Holtland Jacobsen, who is, and Hannah Brock, who are both Cal Lutheran students and are going to tell you about their experience with Cal Lutheran's Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program. Before we get started, I want to bring to your attention, just in case you haven't been to one of these events before, there's a handouts link sort of towards the upper right that has brochures about our minor and our concentration, and also a Hub 101 brochure. We've also included on the videos link some examples of the types of events that we host. I'd encourage you to go take a look at those. The School of Management also has a wonderful YouTube channel with all kinds of content, so please go check that out. I also encourage you to ask questions during the session. We'll keep an eye on the chat stream and the Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer questions as we go. Okay, so without further ado, we'll get started with our presentation. So first, a little bit about the School of Management. Cal Lutheran is a four-year liberal arts university, but we have a School of Management that is incredibly innovative and flexible, and you get the benefit of the liberal arts education, and you also get a leading-edge business education as well. We offer 4 majors, 6 minors, and 9 graduate programs. And in your evaluating what you're planning to do next in your college career, I'd especially encourage you to take a look at our 4+1 program, where you can graduate in 5 years with both an undergraduate degree and an MBA. And I believe there's a session coming up later this week just about that 4+1 program. Now, you may have noticed that entrepreneurship wasn't listed on that slide, and that's because we don't offer a major in entrepreneurship. We don't believe that entrepreneurship is something that should be majored in. We want you to major in something you're really passionate about. And what we do with the entrepreneurship program is help you find purpose with that passion. So if you're really fascinated by business, then concentrate in entrepreneurship. When you pursue a business major, you can concentrate in one particular topic. But we're not just about entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I speak about it in those terms. But we also offer programs having to do with innovation, and that's a word that's somewhat overused. So I'll try to differentiate just a little bit about the two areas we focus on. Innovation and entrepreneurship. Innovation is about believing and conceiving, seeing the world as it is and as it could be, thinking differently about it, and being an advocate for positive change. Entrepreneurs are the doers. They're the ones who take those ideas, who take those different ways of thinking and bring purpose to them, turn them into actions, overcome obstacles, don't let anything stop them on their way to creating something new and innovative. These two sets of skills are not mutually exclusive. You want to study both of them. We offer programs that enable you to do that. When you study entrepreneurship, if you decide to do an emphasis, then you're majoring in business. You're taking a number of business courses. If you decide you're not going to major in business, you're going to major in something else in the College of Arts and Sciences, you can still minor in entrepreneurship. So whether you're taking the emphasis for the business major or you're minoring in entrepreneurship, we offer the same core set of courses that start with innovation and work your way toward doing. If you decide to concentrate or minor in entrepreneurship, you take 2 courses. Everyone takes 2 courses. One is called ENT 101, Creativity and Innovation. It's about being aware of your environment and coming up with ideas that can change the world. The next course, ENT 301, Starting a Startup from Ideas to Action. This is about what it takes to make the idea real, about getting out in the world and talking to your customers, really understanding what they want, making sure that you're doing something that meets their need. It's very much focused, and this, believe me, has been difficult to do recently, but about talking to your customers and getting to know them and getting out of the classroom. A very big part of this course is about getting out in the world and talking to people. And then you choose between one of 2 courses to round out your concentration or the core of your minor. ENT 401, Launching a Startup, is about what is it that I need to do, practically speaking, to make my startup real? What types of corporations can I form? What are the legal considerations? How do I do financial projections, things like that? If you're not taking the entrepreneurship track, if you don't think you're going to launch a startup, then we encourage you to take ENT 430, Global Entrepreneurship, where we talk about entrepreneurs around the world, how cultures and how governments influence the ability of a person to launch a startup elsewhere in the world. You'll notice the asterisks on some of the courses. If you haven't heard this term in any of your sessions yet, I encourage you, when you're planning your coursework for college, is to get used to the term double dip. The entrepreneurship minor has requirements. The business major has requirements, courses you have to take. You have to take general education courses. It's great when you can find courses that allow you to double dip, and that means that they satisfy more than one requirement. So our creativity and innovation course, in addition to counting toward your concentration, also satisfies the general education requirement for a speaking intensive course. And the global entrepreneurship course satisfies the requirement for global perspectives. If you're minoring in entrepreneurship, there are a series, because maybe majoring in art or history or chemistry, we ask you to take a couple more courses that round out your knowledge of some general business concepts. And we ask you to take 2 of those. So if you're concentrating on entrepreneurship, you take 3 courses. If you're pursuing the minor, you take 3 core courses, and then you take 2 electives. But rather than hearing from me tell you about the boring mechanics of how you organize the courses, I'm going to turn the session over to Hannah, who is concentrating in entrepreneurship as part of her studies, and she can tell you a little bit more about her experience.
Yeah, so I've taken so far Entrepreneurship 101, 301, and I'm currently also taking ENT 423. And then I plan on taking 401 and 430 before I graduate. So, so far, all my experience with entrepreneurship courses have been great. I've taken 101 and 301 with the same professor, Professor Rock. She's awesome. And then right now I'm taking legal aspects of entrepreneurship with Professor Adam Traeger. And so one thing that I really like about all the courses I've taken so far is my professors have been very passionate and very experienced in what they teach. So you're not only getting just the basic foundation of the class, but they're also bringing in their own experiences and their own knowledge and stories and sharing them with the class, which I think just makes the class more enjoyable to go to. They're also really passionate about what they teach, so it's very engaging. And then I think also from my classes I've taken, you learn a lot of skills that will translate outside of college. So 2 things that I've learned from the courses I've taken would be, one is just how to talk to people. So entrepreneurship, you're selling a product or you're selling a service, and it's a special skill to sell it, but not necessarily force it on someone. And I think like when you're interviewing, you're also kind of selling yourself, but at the same time, you don't want to push it. You don't want to force yourself onto the job. So I think just learning how to like speak to people, how to, just talk to people in general, I think is really helpful. And I think that's going to translate well outside of college. And another thing that I actually just noticed was a lot of jobs look for research skills. And I think, you learn research skills in all disciplines, but learning how to research in regards to like different business topics, different markets, that's something that you learn in both ENT 101 and 301. So now applying to jobs, that's a skill you could put on your resume and that will look like a good fit. So yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend at least just starting with ENT 101. And that's a class where you kind of get a mix of majors and just different type of people. You have people that are majoring in chemistry, you have people that are majoring in arts, and it's just a good kind of like test class to see if entrepreneurship really is for you. And I'd say more often than not, you find out that it is. It's really awesome. It's just a fun class to start with.
Thank you, Hannah. So I'm looking at attendees, Kurt, Naomi, and Beverly. That's probably the best thing you can get out of these sessions is to talk to students who are going through it now. I'm also the parent of two college-age kids. Well, one just graduated, and one's at San Diego State. But they probably got more out of talking to students who were going through the program than anything else. So I'd encourage you to ask questions of Hannah and Taya as we go through the process. Okay, that's the academic program. And we love teaching, but we also realize that you whether you consider yourself an innovator or an entrepreneur or both, that's hard to do in a classroom. You have to have real world experiences to really understand what it's like to be an agent of change. And you can't do that in the classroom. So we give you a bunch of opportunities to apply what you learn in the classroom in the real world. And I don't just mean the entrepreneurship courses, I mean the skills that you're picking up in other classes that you're taking. We have a rather unique facility on our Westlake Village campus called Hub 101. When we started the entrepreneurship program, we realized that we needed a space where working innovators and entrepreneurs could hang out from the community because they needed a space to do their work, and our students needed examples to learn from. So Hub 101 is a co-working space. If you've heard that concept before, entrepreneurs pay us a monthly fee to be there, and we provide them a really fast internet connection, a very nice place to work, in exchange for that, they help us with mentoring students, and they hire interns and things like that. But I'm going a little too far because I want to introduce you to Kristen Bell. Kristen runs Hub 101, and she's going to tell you more about what we do there.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen. Like Mike said, I'm the community manager of Hub 101, and I'm going to go through what it is. If you have any questions, feel free to chat. Hub 101 is a home, a launch pad, and a community for students and entrepreneurs and students who are working on solutions that are changing industries and really making an impact on what we do and how we interact in this world. We're an incubator and a co-working space where you can bring your ideas to life and ultimately build and scale your businesses. We host a variety of programs and events that are entrepreneurial related that you can also jump in and get involved with. We are also a place of study. We have a large collaborative space with whiteboards. We have private meeting rooms with whiteboards, so you can brainstorm and collaborate and be around a really great group of creatives and doers. That term doers, we are staffed and fully run by Cal Lutheran students. We call them our doers because they do everything. They help us manage the space from an operational perspective. They manage and implement our marketing strategy. They help organize events with videography and photography. Essentially anything that you're passionate about and want to get involved with, we help you get plugged in some way within Hub 101. We're fortunate enough to have a couple doers on the call today, Hannah and Taya. Taya is one of our doers who implements our marketing strategy. She manages our blog. She works on our social media. So Taya, I'm going to give you the floor to talk a little bit about your experience at Hub 101.
Perfect. So hi, and as Kristen mentioned, I've been a doer at Hub 101 for about, I think it's 2 years now. And honestly, it's been a really, really good experience. My main responsibilities at Hub 101 includes doing the social media, and I also do profile pieces on entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial minds from the Hub 101 community, which is really cool considering a lot of them have really interesting histories. And then personally for me, I think it's just been a really good experience in like learning more about entrepreneurship and getting experience on my resume. I'm actually a senior this year, so I'll be graduating in May. And I've noticed when I'm applying for jobs, a lot of people always find the Hub 101 experience very relevant and interesting and a big bonus on my resume. And like Hannah mentioned too, best qualities a lot of employers are looking for, the ability to think critically and start the startup process. All the steps are involved in that. So I just really love Hub 101, and especially as an international student, I think it's been a great asset to me in being able to have a job and get some more experience and entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Taya. I forgot to say that Taya is calling in from Norway right now. So thank you. It's your evening right now. So these doership intern opportunities enable you to get involved in a variety of areas within entrepreneurship and business. And it can also lead to other opportunities. We have, like Mike said, our paying members at Hub 101 are startups, small businesses that are also looking for talent. And so I'm going to give the floor to Hannah again to talk a little bit about how her experience at interning at Hub 101 led to another opportunity.
Yeah, so when you're interning at Hub 101, one of your main tasks is to sit at the front desk and greet people when they come in and say good day when they leave. And there's this one guy that he was a member there, and I just saw him every morning, said hi to him, just made conversation with him. And then one day he asked what like my upcoming semester looked like. And I told him, and he's like, well, I'd love to sit down with you and see if maybe you can start helping us out at his company. And his company is called Homesteady Solutions. Basically what they are is they're a general contractor. So when they specifically do contract work for businesses, so if like an office space needed construction done, if they needed it to be repainted, if they needed new doors, let's say, either they would send their own construction team out there, or they would find a construction crew within the area and send them over. And at first I was kind of hesitant because like I had no knowledge about construction at all, nor did I think I wanted to do something related to that. But I sat down with him, and then we pretty much worked a deal out, and I started interning for him. And I just did pretty much every little thing, kind of like what Kristen was saying, what doers are. You kind of just do a little bit of everything, because one thing that's really cool about Hub 101 is all the members there are just so like passionate about helping the doers, and everyone wants to kind of like, you know, give a little insight into their own company and just try to help us grow and learn. And so Fabian, that's the CEO of Homesteady, when he took me on, he said, like, I understand, you know, you're a CLU student, you're working at Hub 101, but I want to show you like what a real startup, you know, goes through day to day. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been a great experience. And I think not only with just Homesteady, but like I was saying, every startup in there is really just looking to help, and they just want to, you know, give you all the knowledge they can, because they understand we're students, you know, you don't necessarily know what you want to do. So they kind of try to expose you to different like marketing, or I don't know, there's people that work on coding apps there. We have people like in insurance and all that. So it's just, you know, it's a wide range of people. So you kind of get a taste of everything, which is really nice. And that's just one of the perks of working at Hub 101. There's plenty more.
Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, you pretty much touched on how special of a place Hub 101 is. We're run by the best and brightest students at Cal Lutheran. We have some of the most amazing members, startups from anything from the beauty and hair industry to blockchain and cryptocurrency. There's a wide range of talent at Hub 101, and it's a great place to call home, and we look forward to welcoming you to our space as well.
Thank you very much, Kristen and Hannah and Taya. It really is the most unique part about the place, beside it being student run, is that we give you access to entrepreneurs in the community. I don't think you'll find many co-working spaces at other universities that do that. We've got a couple of questions, and I'm going to backtrack just so that we can answer them now. And if we need to go into them further, we can do it. We can do it in the Q&A. But the first question is: do you have to be a business major in order to be an entrepreneurship minor? And the answer to that is absolutely not. The minor is available to any student regardless of major at Cal Lutheran. That's intentional. We designed it that way. But if you are a business major, you just have to take the 3 courses. We think that the 3 core courses you take really give you the basics that you'll need to be an innovator, an entrepreneur. And I'll talk about that in a little more detail later in the talk. And it looks like Hannah already followed up to the other question. Thank you very much, Hannah. But I wanted to say, so the question is, for the minor, when you can choose two of 6 classes, how do you choose which 2 you want to take? And the answer to that is it's up to you. And maybe backtracking a little bit, when you come to Cal Lutheran, you'll be assigned a faculty member who's your advisor about what classes to take and in what order to take them. And it'll be up to you to decide which ones you want to take. But that advisor is a very important part of your Cal Lutheran experience. So that's the questions about academics. So let's go on to having fun and getting involved. Hub 101, as interesting and as unique as it is only part of your experience at Cal Lutheran when it comes to innovation and entrepreneurship. And there were a few programs I wanted to talk about specifically. First, in the upper left-hand corner is the logo for Startup CLU. That's Cal Lutheran's Entrepreneurship Club. They have their own meetings. They bring in their own speakers. They organize events. And they behave very much like entrepreneurs themselves. And they really cross school boundaries, and they've occasionally reached out to entrepreneurship clubs at other universities, and it's a really fun club. Hannah is the incoming president of that club. So if you decide you want to be a part of the entrepreneurship club, Hannah's the person to talk to. Startup Weekend. Startup Weekend is actually a global movement. It's what its name says it is. You spend a weekend working on a startup idea or any idea that's innovative. It doesn't necessarily have to be a startup, but we share ideas at the beginning of the weekend. We form teams, and then we work on our idea all weekend, and then we present what we built on Sunday. This logo was for the last one we did for the Conejo Valley. This logo also designed by one of our doers. We had for this particular startup weekend, we try to take the startup weekend to interesting venues. So this one, the final event was in the middle of the Oaks Mall. You got up in the middle of the mall and you gave your final presentation, and shoppers would stop and see what you were talking about. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great challenge. Sometimes we do them at Hub 101. Sometimes we do them at other interesting places in Ventura County. And then the last event I wanted to talk about is our new venture fair. We have an event every year for our students. who are entrepreneurial or innovative in any way. They're mostly entrepreneurship minors and entrepreneurship concentrations, but you don't have to be. If you're working, we have students who are working on startups on the side to help defray the cost of their educations. We give them an opportunity to share their startup ideas with the community. So you see that photo at the top center. That's from last year's New Venture Fair. We took over the Soylent Gym. Every student team got a booth. They created signs. They created brochures. Some of them they had already created apps and products. We brought in a couple hundred people from the community to talk to them. We brought in some judges who are experienced entrepreneurs and investors and evaluated their startup ideas. And then we gave away about $10,000 in cash prizes. We have a benefactor, a local family that gave us a pretty sizable gift to fund student experiences like this. In addition to the New Venture Fair, we've sent student teams to regional, national, and international startup competitions. Last year, we sent a student, actually, we were going to send one this year to the Clinton Global Initiative for Universities, an annual gathering of students from around the world to talk about how they create social change. So we are very much passionate about making sure that before you graduate, you have experiences that distinguish you on your resume to your potential future employers. So Taya was a part of last year's New Venture Fair. She kind of became part of a team in an interesting way, but in a very entrepreneurial way. So Taya, could you share a little bit about your experience last year in the New Venture Fair?
Yes, absolutely. So as I mentioned, I'm not an entrepreneurship minor, and I haven't been involved with any startup myself. But then Mike actually told me that there was an Austrian MBA student that couldn't be there personally, but he wanted to have his business represented at the New Venture Fair. So I think probably just because I love Hub 101 so much, and I think everything I've been involved with through Hub 101 has been so much fun. I just said yes without even thinking about it, and it really was a lot of fun. So I think the New Venture Fair gave me a lot of experience in terms of you pretty much do everything you would have done if you were actually launching the business yourself. So we made brochures, we had samples, and we had we had to have a strategy for the company, and then we got to present it to customers or judges in the gym, as Mike mentioned earlier. And it was really, really fun. And it also gave me a lot of insight into entrepreneurship. I don't think I would have gotten otherwise, considering I'm not a minor. But it was a really, really good experience. And I think also part of why I did it was because I think the whole community, the Hub 101 community, and also the CLU campus is such a safe environment, I would say. So it's a very good place to try new ideas. And I feel like a lot of students aren't really that scared to try new ideas, even though they might not have that much experience with it, because everyone's very open and very supportive. So even though I pretty much had to do it by myself because the MBA student couldn't be there, it was very fun and it wasn't scary at all. And it was a really good experience, and also something I put on my resume, and that a lot of employers think is a good reference to have. That was a very good experience.
Thank you, Taya. Yeah, we threw Taya into the deep end a little bit. So we have MBA students in Austria, and we go over there and teach them, and then they come to Cal Lutheran at the end of the year. And last year was the first year we had them participate in the fair, and we had this one student who couldn't be there, so we took our Norwegian international student, paired them with an Austrian, and had them work on a project in the U.S. And it came out incredibly well. And Taya did such a great job. The question we get very often from students is, well, I'm not an idea person. I'm not creative. Why would I want to study innovation and entrepreneurship? And there is a really good reason why you should. Not everybody is an idea person. or you're an idea person and you just don't have an idea right now. You need to be able to combine skills. If you're not the idea person, then it's really important that you learn to work with people who, because you may have a talent that benefits them. And a lot of what we do is very much about teamwork and about getting people to work together. So you don't have to be all about ideas to want to study innovation and entrepreneurship. We've got another question. I think we're going to hold it to the end, and because we're almost there. So the sky's the limit. I'd argue that when you study innovation and entrepreneurship, the sky is not the limit. I'd say shoot higher than that. What's great about studying innovation entrepreneurship is it gives you a very flexible set of skills that are applicable in a lot of ways. When you think entrepreneurship, you think startups and Mark Zuckerberg, and that's so not what we're about. We're about giving you an understanding of how to understand the world, how to make change, and how to do that in a way that's best for you. So that may be launching a startup. It may be going to work in a large company and learning how to deal with rules and red tape and how to work around them to get a desired outcome. It may be part of being in the gig economy. If you go work in the music industry or the entertainment industry, chances are you're going to be your own small business, and you need to understand what your customers want and how to give it to them. If you want to go work for a nonprofit, if you want to go work for, if you want to run for office, or in my case, I've been on the board of the parish council of my church. My entrepreneurship skills come in handy all the time in that kind of setting. So there are all kinds of ways that that you can use these skills. We sum it up in this this hashtag you see at the bottom of the screen. Start something. It doesn't matter what it is. The people who change the world see the world differently and are willing to do something about it. So, on that note, I want to open up for Q&A, and I'd like to ask all of our panelists to participate. So we have a question. What's unique about the entrepreneurship minor in comparison to other universities? Which I'm happy to answer. Renee, you want to take a swing at it? Is Renee still there?
Hi, Mike. I may want to. May I take a stab at it?
Please.
Hi, Neha. Thank you very much for your questions. That is a very difficult question to answer, but it's very good questions. I joined Cal Lutheran just a couple of years ago. This is actually my second years at Cal Lutheran. So I'm not so sure if my answer would be satisfactory to your questions, and I hope that the students and Mike will jump in and help out as well. But what I can say to your question is this. Obviously, Cal Lutheran, our Center of Entrepreneurship, cannot really compete with other universities like Stanford or Harvard or MIT, where there is a huge ecosystem supporting them. But for a university of our size, we have an amazing support systems here. Our ecosystem comprised of successful entrepreneurs, very successful investors, and the level of knowledge that we have here in Westlake Village, in terms of entrepreneurship, finance, and everything else about innovation as well, is just so tremendous. And I think, you cannot really find that benefit anywhere else. Again, for the small size university like ours, right? Our ecosystem is just as good as that of Silicon Valley or and in the Boston area. So that's just one of the uniqueness about our program that we can actually provide to our students.
And if I can, Dan, add to some of your comments. So the small size of CLU classes. So generally, our classes are 20 to 25 students, although right now I have 30 students in my Entrepreneurship 101 class. It tends to be a really popular class because, and this may answer an earlier question that someone had, we opened it to all majors across the university just, I want to say, 4 years ago. So initially, I was part of the group that also included Mike Panesis to develop the entrepreneurship program at Cal Lutheran. But initially, it was only available to business majors, and that presented a lot of problems, as you can imagine. So one of the things that I think that makes for a great entrepreneurship class is diversity. So you really need a lot of different mindsets in the classroom, different ways of thinking and perceiving and solving problems, and that really plays into the solutions that arise, out of the ideation processes in the classroom. So, for example, if you have a chemistry major in Entrepreneurship 101 or Entrepreneurship 301, and they're working on a team with business majors, kinesiology majors, we have theater arts, folks from psychology, history, all the way across the spectrum of disciplines, then essentially what emerges is this wonderful sort of composite ideation process where every student working on that idea brings their perspectives into play. And these generally result in much more elegant solutions. And then that combined with what Hannah spoke to earlier about the customer interview process and the importance of that to help students to develop what we call empathy. And the concept of empathy is derived out of the design thinking methodology from Stanford University. So we do bring those perspectives in. I was trained in entrepreneurship methodologies at MIT, at Stanford, and at Berkeley. So, we have this very open and very robust ecosystem in terms of entrepreneurship education. So the wonderful thing about being an entrepreneurship educator and an educator in innovation is all of these methodologies are open source. We all have access to the same methodologies. We can apply them in our classrooms. So it really brings literally a world-class entrepreneurship program, to every university. It's really just about bringing those methodologies in and applying it where it's appropriate. So Entrepreneurship 101, as Mike mentioned, is really focused on innovation. And I would say to Mike's point about being an idea person or not being an idea person, I always teach in 101, everyone can be an idea person. You just have to learn the methodology to learn how to look for problems to solve in the world. It's really that easy. It's not difficult. And as soon as students embrace this methodology, it's like a light switch goes on and they realize I can come up with ideas to really difficult, challenging problems if I apply this methodology and I go out and do the hard work of doing customer interviews, developing that empathy to really stand in their shoes and understand how they experience problems, how hard those problems are, how significant, how frequent in their lives, and taking that data back. And then as a team, really unpacking that data and figuring out, how to solve for that problem. It's really that easy. And Hannah, maybe you can speak to that, how you've applied that process yourself in the classroom.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I had Professor Rock for both 101 and 301. And yeah, after you learn that process, you kind of just start looking at not even just in the classroom, but you're like walking down the street and then you see a broken water pipe, and then you automatically, that like light bulb kind of just clicks in your head, and you just start to look at the world differently. So not only does it help in a classroom sense where, okay, I have this big project I have to do, let me, formulate how I'm going to go about it, but you apply it to your everyday life, which I think kind of ties back into the whole, you don't have to be a business major. If you're a chemist and, you're trying to find the cure to something, you need to have that creative process locked down to find that solution. And so I think just knowing like how to think is really beneficial to all majors. And that's something that entrepreneurship definitely teaches you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Hannah. The other piece of it, and I think that both Thea and Kristen hit upon, is that entrepreneurship and innovation skills are real resume builders. So employers are looking for the future generation to be able to tackle the kind of problems that that they are dealing with in today's information and technology-based economies. We have to be prepared to contribute to those organizations by bringing our creative mindsets and those creative methodologies, the entrepreneurial methodologies and the innovation methodologies, to help these organizations solve problems. And more and more companies are realizing the value of these these skill sets for their employees, and it's an attention getter on your resume.
Thank you, Renee. Just to add a couple of things, Renee mentioned she's been trained by some big programs. She also she started out in the communications department at Cal Lutheran, and I think was recruited to join the entrepreneurship program. And although Renee's been an entrepreneur her whole life, but she went to MIT's summer boot camp where they bring the best and the brightest from around the world to learn how they teach entrepreneurship. And she was on the winning team for the entire cohort. So we have some interesting connections to big programs. And then Professor Vo does research into venture capital and angel investing, and brings some really interesting insight into how startups are funded, and how and he also comes from an entrepreneurial family as well. And then I came to Cal Lutheran from UC Santa Barbara, and I've been an angel investor for 10 years. I spend a lot of time with practicing startups, and have a fair amount of experience about how they work. So with a team of four, with Kristen, and Kristen's an MBA student right now, but she's graduating soon, and I'm hoping she's going to be running Hub 101 full time. Kristen ran an accelerator, marketing for an accelerator in London. So we have with four people, a global footprint and a ton of experience. There's something about the Cal Lutheran student as well that gives us this pool of talent, naturally talented entrepreneurial thinkers. Okay, so we've covered that. What if you don't have any ideas for startups but are still interested? I think we hit that as well. I like the way you said that, Renee. Everybody's an idea person.
Or they can be.
Or can be.
Yep.
I think, and then we answered a question online about Hub 101. The Hub 101 brochure does have prices in it, but those are for the community. It's free to students. Hub 101, it's on the Westlake Village campus. It has the same security system that the main campus does. You can swipe in and out with your ID card, and and have pretty flexible access to the entire space. What else can we answer for you? Is the hub free for students? Yes, it is. One of the great things about being a nonprofit is we're very reasonable with pricing. So it's free for students, and frankly, right after you graduate, typically for the year after you graduate, if you want to still hang out at Hub 101, if you're still doing your job hunt or you're just tossing around some startup ideas, it's still free. And then at some point we start charging you. Or if you know anything about co-working and you look at our prices, even for the community, and you compare them to commercial co-working spaces, the prices are pretty reasonable. Any more questions? Okay, well, before we go, first, thank you, Kristen, Hannah, Taya, Dan, and Renee. If you have any questions after this session, please reach out to us. We're happy to explain what we do, how Cal Lutheran works. We love our university and would love to see you in person soon. If not in person, then we're working virtual as well. I wanted to leave you with a couple of things. First of all, if you want to see the fruit of what we do, you're going to have an opportunity starting today. Our new venture fair, while we can't have it in person this year, we moved it online. So you can go to this website on the screen, and you can look at the 16 Cal Lutheran student projects and another 15 projects from Oaks Christian High School. Look at what our students have produced. You can vote for the one you like the most, and it'll be incorporated into the prizes we give out. But it's a really good feel for one of our most important experiential programs, and I'd invite you to please come visit. You can go to the website whenever you want, and then on May 6th, we're going to have an award ceremony and a virtual demo day using Zoom, and would love to have you come see that as well. Hannah is participating this year. She's got a really interesting startup that I'm excited to see how she does. Hannah, what's the name of your team?
Runaway.
So go look for Runaway. Vote for it, and if you love it, vote for Hannah. Hannah will want you to vote for her anyway. But People's Choice, I think it's a $500 prize. So you're it might be, yeah, it's 500. So your vote has some weight to it. Okay, so we go above and beyond for you. We're proud to be a part of the School of Management. It's a really innovative group. You're going to get a chance to meet some really interesting, accomplished professors who care about you, not just your studies, but your career, and how you're going to be a member of society in general. I wanted to mention that there's some more upcoming School of Management presentations. There's one from the accounting department today at 1 p.m., sports management tomorrow at 10 a.m., the 4+1 program tomorrow at 1 p.m., and then a couple that aren't from the School of Management but I wanted to point out. Friday at 1:30, there's a session on a global U. Cal Lutheran, for its size, has an incredibly big international footprint, and we hear from our students regularly that studying abroad is a great experience for them. We very much believe that too, and it's a session you should attend because our international reach is quite exceptional for a university of our size. And then the College of Arts and Sciences is having its session on May 6th at 5 p.m. love our professors in the College of Arts and Sciences as well. I just want you to remember, if you go to that session, don't forget that if you decide you want to major in the arts or the humanities or the physical sciences, don't forget the entrepreneurship minor. It's a perfect complement to that, and it gives you some great skills that you can use in your life. So we wanted to leave you with this. Like we said, we ask our doers to do things for us. So they recorded a little video where we asked them all to sum up their Cal Lutheran experience in one word. So here's the video.
Opportunity.
Meaningful.
Ethic.
Rewarding.
Fulfilling.
Resourceful.
Unexpected.
Supportive.
Friendship.
Kickoff.
See you in the fall.
My favorite part of that video are the reactions at the end, because everybody cracked up at the end. It's a creative bunch. A number of them are underclassmen, and you'll see them next year. You know, we should also mention that being a doer at Hub 101, there's no minimum requirement. We have freshman doers at Hub 101 pretty much every year. So it's an opportunity that's open to you right away if you're interested. So thank you very much for coming. We can hang out a little longer and answer any questions if any of you have additional questions, but this is a big decision you're making. I know it's not in the best of circumstances. We're here for you. We want to see you. We want you to be successful, and we would love to see you on campus sometime soon. Have a good day.